Hello and welcome to the live stream. My name is Rob the Maritimer and I am going to go over a voiceover demonstration today. First of all, I want to make sure everything is working okay. Is the volume working okay? There's a few people here in the chat now. Can you hear me? Let me know. Everything seems to be okay on my end. Good, volume good, awesome, awesome. I have the gain set. Okay, yeah, this is a little bit of a more complicated live stream for me than I've done in the past because I'm going to demonstrate making a voiceover, recording a voiceover and editing it using the same microphone I'm using for the live stream. And I'm recording this or streaming live through YouTube. So I wasn't sure how this was going to work, if I was going to be able to do both things at the same time, but I can. I believe I can. I've tested this and everything seemed to work just fine. So I think we're good. Yeah, I had a bit of an issue this morning. I was going to start about an hour before this. I set up the live stream. I scheduled it a few days ago. But I left it in unlisted by mistake. So I do that when I test, but I needed to make it public. So nobody was notified about this until about an hour ago. So because of that, there probably won't be as many people tuning into this, but I'll leave it up on YouTube after we're done, so you'll be able to watch it on the replay. So if you are watching it live, thank you very much for joining. If you're watching it later on the replay, thank you as well. So the first few minutes, the first 15 minutes or so, I'm going to answer some questions, and I see there's already some there. That's great. Then I'll get into the live demonstration at around quarter after the hour, and it'll probably take about 30 minutes. Actually, probably less than that, but I've allowed extra time to kind of explain what I'm doing as I go. And then I'll wrap up with some more questions at the end. So if that all sounds great, feel free to leave some questions down below. As I say, there's a few here, so let me just get right to it. Let's see. So here was the first one is from Adam Roll. Thanks, Adam Roll, for joining today. It says, hi, Rob. I bought Camtasia 2023. I have Camtasia 2021 installed. I'm curious, how would you upgrade? Uninstall 2021 first or just run the 2023 installation? You can just go ahead and run the install for the new version. Excuse me. I've noticed that you can actually have two versions of Camtasia running, or not running, but installed at the same time. And I usually do that just in case I ever run into a problem with the new version. I can always open the old version and uninstall the new version. So one thing to look out for, though, is if you have a shortcut set up for Camtasia right now, for Camtasia 2021, when you install 2023, the shortcut you had for Camtasia will probably still open the old one. So if you have that down in your taskbar at the bottom or however you launch Camtasia now, from a shortcut or whatever, you'll probably have to update that shortcut or create a new one for the new version. Otherwise, you'll be launching into the old version. And you can check, once you've launched Camtasia, you can check which version you've launched by going up to, I believe it's up to File and then check for updates, or probably the About tab, and you can check to see what version you're running. So just keep an eye open for that. But yeah, you can have them both running. And then I usually have two. So let's say 2021 and 2023. When 2024 comes out, at that time, I'll probably delete the 2021 version, and then just keep the current one and the last one that I knew was running fine for me. Sometimes when new software versions come out, maybe there's bugs that need to be fixed, and so then they'll come out with updates relatively quickly to fix those things. But anyway, just so that you can keep on working in case you do encounter a bug, I'd leave the old version on for a little bit. Okay, I hope that answered your question. Francesco Tangora, thanks for stopping by again. And he has a question, says, how did you highlight a specific chat message? I saw you do it in your last stream. Okay, like what I'm doing right now. This took me a little bit to figure out because last year when I did some live streams, I used different software that had this functionality built in, and that was StreamYard, StreamYard.com. It's a great service that makes live streaming very simple and easy, and they have that functionality built right in. Your live stream is linked to your StreamYard account, and you open your StreamYard panel or dashboard, and the chats you see on the right hand side, and you click to display the ones you want to display, and the username and the avatar will pop up as well. So, but now I'm using OBS, which does not have that functionality built in. So I had to install, it's a, what do you call it, a plugin. And I believe, let me try to get the name for you as to what it's called. Where is it here? Social Stream, it's called. If you search for Social Stream by Steve Seguin, Seguin, he's the one that created this, and you can download that from his GitHub page. And actually, you can search for it on YouTube as well, because he has a YouTube video that walks you through how to install it, and it's great. Then you link it to your OBS, and the chat messages will pop up on your OBS screen, and then you can just click to highlight. I'm not going to be able to show. Can I show you this? Yes, I can. Let me just. No, I can't. I don't have it set up. I have one more camera. Yeah, just one sec. I will show you. Let's go to this scene here. So I have another camera set up. You can't see that. So let me bring this camera closer. Okay, this is my iPhone, and so here's what I'm looking at. This is my OBS, and if you see over here in the left, it displays the messages, okay? And I can click on them and they will display on the screen. So I just go here and I click, and they will display on the screen. Let me go demo chat. They will display here. So as I click, I can click to turn them on or turn them off. And anyways, that's how that works. There, let's make sure I got that back in the right spot. Yes. Okay, so yeah, I hope that helped. Again, Social Stream by Steve Seguin, or Seguin, Seguin, and search for him on YouTube, and that's what you need. Okay, let's keep on going here. It's still only 8 minutes past, so we've got some time for some more questions. Adam Roll says, good. Oh, good. My volume is good. Great. Thank you, guys. Francesco said volume good. Adam Roll, what could go wrong? What was this in reference to? Oh, the Camtasia. I don't know. You never. Some things go wrong sometimes. You just never know. Better to be safe than sorry. I'd hate to be in the middle of a big job and then Actually, that's another pointer. If you're doing a big job, making a video, and then a new version of Camtasia comes out, I would finish making your video with the version you started with, just to be safe. But that's just me, or at least keep a copy in the older version. Adam Roll says thank you, and Francesco Tangora says thank you. You see, rolling right along. Adam Roll says, just a thought, your chat is next to the YouTube chat and it's kind of redundant. Your chat takes up screen real estate. That's right, it does. And funny you should mention that. I've had a chat with my son about this. Again, I don't know whether or not I should show it like this. If some people are watching the live stream on a phone, maybe they don't have both chats. I'm not 100% sure. But in talking to my son, who streams on Twitch usually and streams game playing, they do keep it on the screen, and the thought process is people in the chat like to see their name in the chat, so on screen as well. So So that's why I've got that here, but I tend to agree with you. I think it is redundant, and we'll just keep doing it this way for now, and maybe the next one as well. But if anybody else has any comments about this, whether I should leave this in or out, let me know. Maybe it's a good idea for a poll at some point, but very easy to remove if it turns out that most of you would rather not see it on screen. But yes, it does take up screen real estate, which is why I get rid of it when I show my screen, like just my screen like this. I don't have the chat in either of those scenes or that scene. It's just when we're chatting. This I call the just chatting scene. Okay, but good point. That's it for the questions for now. We still have a few minutes, but maybe what I'll do is I'll go through, before I actually begin the demo, I'll go through a couple of pointers that I wrote down that I like to follow before I do a voiceover. So some tips that I wrote down. First of all, well, just get ready. Talk loud and stretch. And what I mean by that, like, I mean, you can't really stretch your mouth, but you can. How best to put this? So I'm typically a relatively quiet talker. Don't generally talk very loud. So when I'm doing a voiceover, I typically have to get psyched up or amp myself up, ready to do a voiceover, to put more inflections in my voice and just so that it sounds a little bit more dynamic, loud. So to get ready for that, I typically will talk loud. I don't know, like just test, hello, hello, and just start getting my mouth ready. Especially if it's in the morning and I haven't been up that long, I have to make sure my voice is kind of ready. I don't want it to be raspy. And incidentally, my voice is a little bit raspy right now. I have a bit of hope I'm not getting a cold, but because of that, it may sound a little bit different than it normally would in a normal voiceover. So do what you can to get ready to make yourself loud and proud when you're talking. The other thing is take a drink of water and have water beside you when you're about to do a live stream. Because, oh, just one second. The cat wants out. One sec. Get out. Go on. I don't need her meowing in the background when I'm going to do a voiceover. So she's locked out of the room now. So, yeah. So have water on hand, which I do. Sit up straight. I find, like, if I'm hunched over and if I had the microphone down here, it would be more of a conversational voice. Right? So, and maybe if that's what my client wants, or if that's what I want, if I'm making a video for myself, that's the way I would do it. But for today's demo, I'm going to do a demonstration on making a voiceover for a relatively upbeat video tutorial, like a walkthrough demonstration. So if I'm going to be doing that, I want to make sure I'm sitting up straight. So, and I want to bring the microphone that I'm going to use down a little closer. So at this point, I'm going to turn my gain down because I don't want to be too loud, because the microphone is going to be closer to my mouth. So yeah, I want to be able to sit up straight and look up when I'm talking. So I generally do this, and I position the microphone so it's right beside my mouth. I don't want to talk right into it like this, because any P sounds or B or anything that's b, p, like that, like you're sending air out of your mouth really, really quickly, and you don't want that to get into the microphone. One thing that does help, though, is a pop filter like this. So it'd be great if you had one of those, regardless of the mic you use. Some mics have these built in, or it's a sleeve that you slide over the mic. This one, I just have a custom one that I slide over just like that. And that will help cut down on those. I'm just going to leave the microphone a little lower for now so that the camera focuses on me and not the mic. So yeah, sit up straight, position it so that the microphone is just off center, so you're not talking right into it like this. The microphone you use doesn't matter a whole lot. I'm using a shotgun mic because I like that it doesn't pick up a lot beside the microphone and only directly in front. That's what I use. What I've seen is that most voiceover artists don't use a shotgun mic. More often than not, they have a condenser mic or something that picks up more voice around, and but they typically will record in a treated room, a room treated better than the room that I'm in now. So again, my room is, I think, 14 by 9 or 10 feet, and that's not as small as a vocal booth would be. And I have some fairly flat surfaces on some of the walls, so the ceiling as well. I don't have any treatment up there. But if you can treat your room with lots of furniture, hanging drapes, even hang a bunch of clothes around. Like some people will do voiceovers in their closets, because that will really cut down on the echo and the reverb. So you do what you can with that, but if you still need a little bit of help, I prefer the shotgun mic so you can get really close to it, and it doesn't pick up sound coming from other directions. So there's that. Now, the other thing, when you're about to do the voiceover, and I'm pretty much set up to do this now, I have my software open here. Actually, let's change the view here. Okay, so what I've set this scene up so that I have Adobe Audition open in my main screen here, and I have this this is a text edit file. I'm on a Mac, so it's text edit. You could use a notepad or Google Docs or wherever you have your script, but I have my script open here to the side. And then I just put 2 different views of me on the scene as well, so you can actually see me and what I'm doing. Yeah, so what I wanted to say, oh yeah, don't worry about mistakes. When you're recording a voiceover for a video, have your script ready, whether that's you that wrote the script or perhaps your client sent you the script. Either way, have it ready, word for word, what you want to say, and have it somewhere where you can say it. So, I mean, I could have it written down or printed out on a sheet of paper below me, but again, for me, I like to have my head lifted up and looking up a little bit, and for me, that gives the best voice, and I think for most people it would as well. So I have it up here, so I have Adobe Audition open. It is I've got a file created, and I'm not going to get into too much how to use Adobe Audition. It can be complicated. What I use it for, though, is not. But you could use any recording software to record your voice. I just happen to be used to Audition, but there's also Audacity, there's Audiate in Camtasia, and there's numerous other ones you could use. But I like Adobe Audition because of what I can do after I do the recording. Okay, so let's get into it. So now to record, I want to get the microphone where I want it. I will put headphones on. That helps keep any external noise out of my ears, and it helps me concentrate. You can monitor what you're saying. I'll check my gain level. I've got my pop filter on. Now the one last check that I will do with this, I will hit record. So now I'm actually recording in Audition right now this minute. So I just want to make sure that I'm not peaking or clipping, it's called. If I had my gain too high, like that's where my gain was for when I started the live stream. And as you can see, things are going off the top and bottom of the scale, which means that's clipping. So let's dial this back a bit. You want to avoid that. You want to set it lower so that you can always boost it up later if the volume is too low, but you can't bring it down if it's too high, because once it's clipped, which introduces static, then you can't fix that by then lowering the volume. So you want to capture it before excuse me, you want to capture the audio without any clipping at all. So I've found that right about there works well for me, and I'm checking my levels here. I can see if I talk a little bit louder, okay, I'm getting up there closer to -2 decibels. You basically clip when you go over 0 decibels, but you like to keep things around the -3 level. So let me just do a test here. I've got my script. Okay, script ready to go. I'm going to read the first line. At glasssupply.com, we provide custom glass. No. Okay, but that level looked okay. Let me just delete this. Delete and start over. And yeah, don't worry about mistakes. I'm going, as you'll notice when I record, there are going to be sentences that I say more than once. I may not like the way I said it the first time, and I feel like I have to do it again. And I don't want to have to come back to this after I've ended it and have to re-record something else. I can, and I have, but typically I like to have everything in one file, at least starting off. Okay, so let me just do another start here. I'll start recording. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Testing, testing. Test, test, test. Hello. Okay, levels look good. At glasssupply.com, we provide custom-cut glass products like glass railings. We offer an online railing configurator where you can create and source your own products from scratch. Start by going to the railing configurator. Start by going to the railing configurator. Select your hardware, then the hardware color. Select the glass type, top rail options, and select the railing height. Then click Continue. Next, select the product type and a template. Click Continue again. A starting template will be shown on the Railing Designer page. Modify the values as needed. Modify the values as needed. Enter the length for span A here and the length for span B here. For angles that are not 90 degrees, check the non-90 degree box and enter the angle you need. You'll notice that all entered values and angles are adjusted and shown on the plan. Click Top Front to see more detail. Take a drink of water. Test, test, test. Click Top Front to see more details. If all looks good, scroll down and click Continue. If all looks good, scroll down and click Continue. Click this arrow to show the plan full screen. Then you can click the individual spans to see their details. Scrolling down, you'll see a list of components here. When ready, click Add to Cart. Next, click Go to Cart, and you'll see an itemized list of everything in your cart, everything needed for your new glass railing. Finally, click Proceed to Checkout. Enter your billing, shipping, and payment details. Enter your billing, shipping, and payment details. Check that you've read the terms and conditions and place your order. Our technical team will then review your order and if required, will contact you to suggest any changes and optimizations. Our team is dedicated to ensuring the accuracy and quality of your project every step of the way. Then I'll stop. That's it. I've done my recording. So let me know what you think of that and how I did that. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll get to them a little bit later. But the demonstration is not finished. I've captured the main recording. I've captured everything that I wanted. There's obviously some mistakes in there. I think what I'll do now is I'm going to turn my gain back up. and put the microphone out of the way, back to live streaming mode, because, is that right there? You can get this pop filter off. Because I've already captured everything I need for the live stream, or for the recording. There, that's good. Okay, so everything sound good? Is that, I think my live stream gain should be set correctly. Let me know if I need to change the levels at all. Let me know if I don't sound okay. Now, so the next thing, I'm going to leave the scene on this view here. I'm going to stretch this addition window over to make it a little bit bigger so you can see what I'm doing, or what I'm going to do next. We don't need the script anymore. So now we need to edit this. So I need to make sure that you're going to be able to hear. I have the headphones on so I can hear this, because I have my speakers off so that you don't get feedback. Just make sure everything is okay here. Yeah. So let me just play this to see if you can hear it. Okay. I can hear it.
Start by going to the railing configurator. Select your hardware, then the hardware.
Does that sound okay for you guys? Can you guys hear that?
Select the glass type, top rail options.
Okay, actually, it looks like I got kind of loud here. Did that clip?
For angles that are not 90 degrees, check the non-90 degree box.
Okay, no, I think that sounded okay. But you want to watch this. When you look back at your okay, Pamela Powers said yes. So the volume sounds good then. I assume that's what you said yes for. I hope. Thanks. It looks like I've got everything set properly. So yeah, if you do your recording and it looks like you've peaked, so I'm talking about right here. So this, because the scale here is set to 0, so that's 0 decibels. And if you start going into the positives, that's when clipping occurs. So this looked like it got awfully close, but it was only briefly, and I think it still sounds okay.
For angles that are not for angles that are not 90 degrees.
Okay, I think that sounds okay. Anyways, so the next thing I do, if you were just recording audio, your voice, which is what we did here, just a voice recorder. I'm not recording. I mean, you see my face, but this exercise here is not for recording video and audio. Because it's just audio, I can go through and edit out the bad parts right here in the audio track. Okay. First, I'm going to go Control S to save this live stream demo. So I've saved this file. Okay. If I was recording this and recording my camera at the same time, then I would not edit it here, because I'm going to want to edit the audio together with the video so that everything stays in sync. If I made 25 cuts and edits to my audio file here without also doing it to the video file, I'd be in real trouble. That'd be a nightmare to try to make everything line up again. So again, if you're recording video with your audio, then don't do this part now. You would want to edit those two together in your video editing software, Camtasia, DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, whatever you're going to use. But this is just audio, so I can freely go ahead and make my corrections here. Now, if this audio was if it's for a video that you're making, then when you're finished here, you're going to import this into Camtasia or DaVinci Resolve and then edit your video. If you were just doing a voiceover only, and for a client, say, that wanted a voiceover, then you would finish your product right here in Adobe Audition or whatever software you use to capture your audio. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the edits. Now, some of the shortcuts I'm using here, every software would be different, but there's a lot of similarities. Spacebar will play and stop, or pause, play, pause. So if I hit spacebar, and I'm using my mouse here to position spacebar, spacebar. See,
like
start and stop. So my thumb is always on the spacebar. a couple other things. You can drag the, you can zoom in and out by dragging this up at the top, and you can click and move like this, okay? Works very similar to the timeline in Camtasia or DaVinci Resolve, okay? So I usually like to set my scale so that it goes from 0 to about 40 seconds. So I will adjust this so I see 40 seconds at a time. That is just an arbitrary number that I've gotten used to. You know, use whatever feels right to you. So I typically leave maybe a quarter to a half a second between phrases. It's whatever you think flows well. And I've gotten used to knowing how large of a space that is when I have my scale set to 40 seconds. That's all that is. But set that to whatever you want. Now we're going to go through and delete the things we don't want, okay? You can almost tell by looking here what is what. So these 3 spikes here is usually when I say test, test, test. So I'm obviously not going to want that.
Test, test, test.
Right?
Test, test, test.
So that's garbage.
Testing, testing.
Garbage. Garbage.
Test, test, test.
Yeah.
Hello. Okay, levels look good.
Okay, so all that obviously I want to get rid of. In Adobe Audition, you would take your mouse and you can just click here and drag to highlight, then press delete. It's gone. So now, spacebar.
At GlassSupply.com, we provide custom-cut glass products like glass railings.
I think that was good.
We offer...
Okay, so when I make a mistake, typically it's the second one that I'm going to keep, or the next one. It's not the first. You make a mistake at first, then you redo it. And you'll get to visually be able to see what is what. You'll get, so, I mean, this recording here looks like it doesn't look identical to this. Like I can tell, you get used to what it looks like, because when you get louder, the spikes are higher. When you say, you know, like hello, like that would be a longer waveform. I can tell these don't look the same. If you can tell they look the same, like over here, some of these look the same.
Select your hardware, then the hardware color.
Okay, but they weren't the same.
Top.
What I'm getting at is visually sometimes it can be easier. It can make yourself, what am I trying to say? It becomes easier to do edits by being able to look at the waveforms like this. So I'm just going to stop talking for a minute and you can watch my process going through this and editing it. It'll go much quicker. Okay, and if you have any questions at all, post them and I will answer as soon as I've done this section.
At GlassSupply.com,
that was
glass
okay.
railings. We offer an online
So I'm going to delete this.
glass products like glass railings. We offer
Too big of a gap there, I think. I can always edit this again in Camtasia or DaVinci Resolve once I start video editing if I want to shorten the space even more, but for now I'm going to make it as close to what I think it's going to be as possible.
glass railings. We offer an online
Even a little bit more.
products like glass railings. We offer an online railing configurator where you can create and source your own products from scratch. Start by going to the
Delete all that.
from scratch.
Make this smaller.
Scratch. Start by going to the railing configurator. Start by going to the
Okay, so I want to delete all those.
own products from scratch. Start by going to the railing configurator. Select your hardware, then the hardware color.
So every once in a while you can see some little anomalies here in the waveform, like this right here. You can hardly hear that. I can hear it in my headphones. It's a little click. It's probably from my mouth or throat or something like that. But generally when I'm deleting space, I will delete some of those when I see those. The other thing to look for are breaths, and I know there's going to be some later on. I'll point that out when we get there.
Start by going
You want to remove any of the breaths.
to the railing configurator. Select your hardware, then the hardware color.
So I've left some space here between those two because I remember when I was doing the script that when I say select the hardware, there's a drop down that I have to click and select, and then I need some time for that to happen. So I'm leaving a space for now.
Select your hardware, then the hardware color. Select the glass.
Can delete some of that.
Select the glass type, top rail options, and select the railing height. Then click Continue.
I'll delete that, make that a little bit shorter.
Railing height. Then click
Yeah, I'll leave that space a little bit longer. In my mind, I'm going through what the video is going to look like. Then click Continue. Go across the page and click.
Then click Continue. Next, select the product type.
So I can make this smaller.
Next, select the product type and a template. And a template. Click Continue again. A starting template. Again. A starting template will be shown on the Railing Designer page. Modify the values as needed.
Okay, that was a click and a breath, and you can see it. So I want to delete that for sure.
Use as needed. Modify.
Make it a little smaller.
Modify the value. Modify the values as needed.
Is that the same as this?
Modify the values as needed.
Right.
Modify.
Okay, so delete both of those.
Modify the values as needed. Enter the length for a span. Enter the length as needed. Enter the length for span A here and the length for span B here. For angles that are not for angles that are not 90 degrees.
And I'm just clicking, dragging, space, space to start and stop, and then I hit the delete key. Those are most of the keys that I'm hitting.
Here. For angles that are not 90 degrees, check the non-90 degree box and enter the angle you need. Non-90 degree box and enter the angle you need. You'll notice that all entered values and angles are adjusted and shown on the plan. Click top front to see more detail.
Okay, I messed that up. So, and all this, I know that was a mistake. You can click and drag here to move your
plan.
Waveforms.
Click top front to see more detail.
That was a breath. You could hear I inhaled. So another tip, if there's a long sentence you have to say, and again, it really comes down to how you can speak. How long can you speak for before you have to inhale and take a breath? So I'm used to mine. I can tell by looking at how long a sentence is, okay, that one's going to be a tough one to read in one go. So if there's a comma, I will typically stop there, inhale again, and then go, and then I can eliminate the space and make the sentence sound correct here in the edit.
Shown on the plan. Click top front to see more detail.
Okay, so I'll delete this breath.
Are adjusted and shown on the plan. Click top front to see more details.
Okay.
If all looks good, scroll down and click Continue. Continue. If all looks good, scroll down and click Continue. Click this arrow.
Okay, so I have to delete this one.
If all looks good, scroll down and click Continue. Click this arrow. Click this arrow to show the plan full screen. Then you can click the individual screen. Then you can click the individual spans to see their details. Scrolling down.
When I'm finished with this editing, and I'm a little more than halfway through, I will show you how I process my audio. So just so you know what I'm going to do next. So in other words, what you're hearing now is not the good quality audio that you're going to hear when I'm finished. Okay, so I'm going to add some equalizing and whoops, what am I doing? Anyways, yeah, that's coming up once I finish all of these.
Scrolling
cuts.
down, you'll see a list of components here. When ready, click Add to Cart. When ready, click Add to Cart. Next, click Go to Cart. Next, click Go to Cart, and you'll see an itemized list of everything in your cart, everything needed for your new glass railing. Your cart, everything needed for your
Even less.
cart, and you'll see an itemized list of everything in your cart, everything needed for your new glass railing.
Okay. Well, this looks, no, that's not the same.
Finally, click Proceed to Checkout.
Let's just shorten that space.
Finally, click Proceed to Checkout. Enter your bill. Enter your.
Incidentally, it's very stormy outside here right now. I can hear it even through my headphones, but it's raining like crazy out there, and it's a storm. So another good reason for me to have a shotgun mic, because I can hear that. If I had a very powerful microphone that could pick up noise from all around, it might pick that up. But with this shotgun mic, my wife can be vacuuming outside my office, and this still doesn't pick that up. Yeah, another good reason to use a shotgun mic.
Enter your billing, shipping, and payment details. Shipping and payment details.
So in my mind, I know for each of those three things I'm telling the person to do, in Camtasia, I'm going to put basically a highlight box, and then I'm going to animate that to go and show all the three things. So that's why I've left a little bit of space between those phrases so that I have time to do those animations. Okay, but again, what I'm doing here, I can always edit it again in Camtasia. If I haven't left enough space between two phrases in this edit, obviously in Camtasia, I can split the audio and then add some more space there. I'm just trying to get it as close to what I think I want here first.
Shipping and payment details. Enter your billing.
Okay, that was a redo.
Enter your billing. Enter your.
So I did that over again, so let's delete that.
Enter your billing, shipping, and payment details. Check that you've read the terms and conditions and place your order. Our technical team will then review your order, and if required, will contact you to suggest and if required, will and if required,
here
and if required,
and here. Start over.
Our technical team will then review your order, and if required, will contact you to suggest any changes and optimizations.
Okay, so incidentally, I'm not 100% happy with this voiceover, and it's because my voice is a little bit raspy right now. Sometimes I need to wait. So, I mean, it's noon now, but I usually do my voiceovers later in the day. But I also may have a cold coming on, so.
And optimizations.
But for this demo, at least I get to show you what I normally do.
Our team is optimizations. Our team is dedicated to ensuring the accuracy and quality of your project every step of the way.
So that's an example of a sentence that I knew I probably couldn't get out all in one breath. I could maybe if I looked at, if I took a deep enough breath right here, but I didn't. And I know it's okay to say the back half of a sentence, anything after a comma, and stitch it together afterwards. You just have to be careful. Like if your words run into each other, like this sentence I'm speaking right now, all of that, it would be very hard to cut that into two, and then, you know what I mean? But sentences typically have natural breaks in them, or they should anyways in a video tutorial where you're trying to explain something and make something very clear. You don't really want your sentences to run into one another anyways. So because of that, it should be very easy to stitch two halves of a sentence together.
Our team is dedicated to ensuring the accuracy and quality of your project every step of the way.
So I had to breathe in there, but we can zoom in. If you ever want to zoom in, you can, right? To see something better. It looks like there's a click here, but I just want to hear it.
Quality of your project.
Okay, project. That's the end of the T sound, so I don't want to delete that. If I did,
The accuracy and quality of your project.
project, there's no T. So Control Z, as with most programs, will undo what I just did. So that puts that back.
Project.
Delete the breath. Let me change this scale again so it was closer to what I had.
Our team is dedicated to ensuring the accuracy and quality of your project.
Okay, want to delete most of that.
Every step of the way.
And I delete the end. And then I use my mouse wheel to, that's another thing. The mouse wheel will control, see that up top here? This here, you can manually click and drag the ends, just like on a timeline, or the mouse wheel is a shortcut to do that. So I've gone all the way back out. I can see the entire recording here, and this recording is, I can see down here, it's 1 minute and 44 seconds. Let's Control S to save that. Okay, there's my master recording. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save another copy of this, but I'm going to add -processed to the file name. So Control Shift S, I know, is the shortcut for save as. And I'll put that there, and I'll add dash, and I go processed in capital letters so I can find it easily. And OK, so now I have 2 copies of this saved in my downloads folder, is where I have these files saving to. And now with this one, I'm going to do the processing. So this demonstration has already been over half an hour. I'm not going to run through specific, well, I'm going to show you. Let me show you. So what I do is I'll go up here to, you can still see my screen. So if I zoom in here, if I go up here to favorites, oh no, you can't see that because I'm in the way. So it looks like there, favorites. If I go up here to favorites, these are actually, I only created 1 or 2 of these, but they are basically one-click processes that have been set up. Okay, so there's a bunch of here, hard limit to -0.1 dB, lower pitch. A lot of these I don't know what they even mean because I am not an audio engineer. I only know enough to use this for what I need it for. So if you come down here, you can see I've got one called Rob Voice 2021. So it's been 2 years since I created this preset, if you will, or favorite. It's basically a macro that I've created that goes through 6 or 7 processes to make the voice sound better. Okay, so if I zoom out here, and I will show you under favorites, if I click, so you don't have to do any of this once you have it set up. And I think, let me know if you want me to do a video on how to set this up in the future, and I'll do one. But if I go down and I click and I select my favorites, you can see all the things that I've done, that I've added to this process. So I've added an effect, dynamics processing, a hard limiter effect, a graphic equalizer, a parametric equalizer, single band compressor, and then I normalized the volume. I'm not sure what that final selection is. Again, it's been 2 years since I did this, and I'll be honest, the way I did this, I found somebody on YouTube who created a macro that I liked the sound of, knowing that all of the different things that she set when she did it, I may not want to set them at the same levels as she did for my voice. Okay, so I'm not really prepared to go through all of this specifically what it does, but just so you know, these are the processes that are going to run through when I add my favorites. So now let's just take one quick listen to just this one phrase so you get a sense of what it sounds like now.
Online railing configurator where you can create and source your own products from scratch.
Okay, now let me run the favorite Rob Voice 2001. So when I click this, it's going to do all of these things, and you'll see how quickly it does it for this 1 minute and 40-second video. Click. Boom, done. That's it. It's all done. So now if you notice, the waveforms are a little more constant. There's not as many big ups and big downs, peaks and valleys, if you will. One of the things that I know I set in there is a hard limit of -3 or -3 decibels. So you can see way over here on the, I'm going to zoom in. So -3 decibels you can see right here. And if we look all the way across, it looks like this one right here is, this one right here is the one that caused it to, so that's the loudest point. Let me just play this section.
A starting template will be shown on.
Shown. That's it. So it doesn't really matter, but that is the one that was the hard limit, and that nothing would be louder than. Okay. So the compression and the normalizing and the equalizing have all been added, and now it sounds like this.
An online railing configurator where you can create and source your own products from scratch. Start by going to the railing configurator. Select your hardware, then the hardware color.
Okay, so I think you'll agree that sounds a lot better than the original one. Let me just save this now. Okay, and now in Adobe Audition, you can go up here. Let me move my camera out of the way. You can come up here and click to select a different. Okay, no, I saved it as a different one. Okay, so I'm going to open the other one that I had. Live stream demo. That's not what I wanted to do. Let me quit music. Right-click the file, open with Adobe Audition. Okay, here it is. So just so that for comparison's sake, here is the first version that here is my recording.
At GlassSupply.com, we provide custom-cut glass products like glass railings.
And now let's change to the processed version.
At GlassSupply.com, we provide custom-cut glass products like glass railings.
Okay, sounds better. The volume's louder, and there's more equalizing. I've got the higher bass, higher treble, some noise reduced, and some compression added. And that's it. That's my file ready to go. I know I've saved where I've saved it. What I would typically do at this point is I would drop that into my project folder that I've created for a folder for whatever project I'm working on, and I would import it into Camtasia. So that's it. That's the voiceover. Let me know if you have any questions about anything that I went through there, or if you want me to expand on anything that I did, and I will answer as best as I can. Just 1 second. Excuse me. Okay. All right, I'll go back into the chat window. I don't need these anymore. I don't think. I might. Okay, so we do have a question from Adam Roll. Adam Roll says, just curious, how long did it take you to create the Glass Company demo video start to finish? Thank you for all the info. That video, I'm going to say, I'm trying to remember now, did I write that script based on the instructions? I'm going to say a video like that, a 2-minute video like that would probably take me, I'm going to say a couple hours. I would maybe 2 hours. It really depends on the quality of the instructions the client sends to me. I really like it when a client sends me a screenshot, like a screencast. If they record themselves, now I admit that sometimes is asking too much. The official ask that I have is that I ask them to provide me with instructions, step-by-step outline of what they want me to demonstrate in the video tutorial. So that's what most of my clients provide me. Some don't provide as much detail as I would like, but I try to make sure that they're aware that I may not know your software, especially if it's proprietary, if it's their own custom software. I'm not going to know it. Now, I've done enough of these videos and I've been around computers and whatnot long enough that I may be able to figure it out, but as much help as they can provide me with, I'll take. So if they give me an outline, that's great. I can usually use that outline to create a basic script. If there are specific notes that they want me to say in the script, let's say they want me to describe a page or describe something on a screen. Again, I'll tell them. Let me know what you want me to. If there's something specific you want me to say, send that to me. And also, a lot of times, my client. I shouldn't say a lot of times. It's not all the time, but let's say my client's English is not their first language, or they're not great at using proper grammar or English. I try to tell them not to worry about that. If they can just explain to me what they want me to say, I'll make sure the grammar is good. I will edit it that way. So, and if there's some things I have trouble with, there are tools. Like, let's say you yourself are making video tutorials for people, and maybe you yourself don't have proper English or not as comfortable with English. It might not be your first language. There are tools you can use to help you with things. So if you have a sentence all ready to go and you don't think it sounds right, or you're not sure if it sounds right, you can use tools like ChatGPT to enter that in and ask it to correct your grammar. Or ask it to rewrite it in a different way. I know there are people that do that. I haven't done that, but I can notice myself, having been an English speaker all my life, I can tell if there's something that doesn't sound right or needs to be reworded. I will always make those corrections in the script that I'm going to read from before I read from the script. I can't look at a script as I'm recording and make changes on the fly very easily. So I need every little word that I'm going to say in there. And also what I do, I'll just zoom in here so you can see. I don't know if you can tell this. I'll zoom into my script here. So for example, click this arrow to show the plan full screen. Then you can click the individual spans to see their details. Okay, so I add ... for pauses, and that's for myself. I know that's not proper grammar, proper way to read it or to write it. Click this arrow to show the plan full screen. Then you can click the individual spans to see their details. So probably there should be a comma there, but not necessarily if it's properly written. And anybody who's better at grammar than I am can tell me if I'm wrong. But for me, I'm not putting text on the screen in the video typically. Sometimes people want subtitles, but more often than not, if they do want subtitles, they actually don't want all of the proper punctuation. Commas, yes, but more often than not, if there's a comma, but then the subtitle is going to change to the next one anyways. I've had people a lot ask me to remove the comma at the end of a subtitle, even though if it were written the full sentence, it should be there. Okay, so these 3 dots I put there for myself so that I know there needs to be a pause. The other thing I do is I add a space. You can see here I've got a space. I don't have it all tight like this, sentence after sentence. I always have a space between sentences. And sometimes I'll even put a space after 3 dots. So in this case, I might remove that and just put it on its own line. When I see the 3 dots, I know to put a pause. Okay, so just some tricks that I do to help me read it properly and gives me a better chance of getting it right with the first take. Okay, so back to your question, how long did it take me to do that video? If I were to break it down, most of it, if the whole thing takes me 2 hours, it probably takes me 15 to 20 minutes to record and then edit the voiceover. And then when I create the video, I'll admit I'm not very good at using templates and then like Camtasia templates, for instance, and then starting with those. because the intros that I add are so easy and quick for me to do. I'll start a new project. I'll put the logo in there for 5 seconds. I'll put a music track down on the bottom, and then I'll drop this processed audio right after the logo. So, and then I build my video on top of that. So if the audio voiceover and editing takes me maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes tops, then for this video, it probably took me less than an hour to add the individual screen recordings. And just so you know what that looks like, let me just pull this up, the Camtasia project. Where is it here? Okay, this should bring it up. Let me change my screen so you can see it. Oh no, I opened the video. No, let's go to this one. Open Camtasia. Camtasia is opening. Okay, it opened on my side screen. Bring it over here. I'll just set it up so that I'm not in the way of the cameras. Okay, I'll bring this in. Actually, I'll bring this up so you can see everything. I'll fit to screen. And I will click this so you can see the whole timeline. There's the project. So as you may already know if you watched my previous live stream where I showed this project, this is something I did a few weeks ago. Okay, so what I just recorded today is a redo of something I had already done. So, so just so you know, if you want to see what this looks like, it'd be interesting to see if I sound the same as I did. Let's just play this. Back it up.
At GlassSupply.com, we provide custom-cut glass products like glass railings. We offer an online railing configurator where you can create and source your own products from scratch. Start by going to the railing configurator. Select your hardware, then the hardware color. Select the glass type, top rail options, and select the railing height. Then click Continue. Next, select the product type and a template. Click Continue again. A starting template will be shown on the Railing Designer page. Modify the values as needed. Enter the length for span A here, and the length for span B here. For angles that are not 90 degrees, check the non-90 degree box and enter the angle you need. You'll notice that all entered values and angles are adjusted and shown on the plan. Click Top Front to see more details. If all looks good, scroll down and click Continue. Click this arrow to show the plan full screen. Then you can click the individual spans to see their details. Scrolling down, you'll see a list of components here. When ready, click Add to Cart. Next, click Go to Cart, and you'll see an itemized list of everything in your cart, everything needed for your new glass railing. Finally, click Proceed to Checkout. Enter your billing, shipping, and payment details, check that you've read the terms and conditions, and place your order. Our technical team will then review your order and, if required, will contact you to suggest any changes and optimizations. Our team is dedicated to ensuring the accuracy and quality of your project every step of the way.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, so you recognize that script because it's the same as what I just recorded earlier today. That is the final video that I made for the client a few weeks ago. And a couple things. So you noticed how many different cuts there are to all of the video tracks. That's because I don't record my screen shots or screen grabs, screen recordings in one take. Typically, I don't do it that way. Especially if there are a lot of steps involved in the video, I'll write them down and I will go so far through it, record it, and then, so like for instance, in this particular job, if we look up to the left here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screen recording files. So yeah, I did 5 different ones to make this up, and then I will split it up so that it syncs with the audio track. So some clips I have to speed up, and some I slow down. I don't usually slow down that much, but speed up quite a bit, especially if I'm filling out a whole bunch of forms, or a lot of things have to happen while I'm giving a voiceover, a specific sentence. The other thing you'll notice here is on the voiceover track, that's what this one is here. See, there's a couple of spaces here between these sections. Those are examples of, actually, let me zoom that in so you can see it. Like right here, this voiceover file. So I split it. It was one voiceover file, and I called it voiceover-processed. But I found I needed more space, more of a pause in my speaking while this was happening. Let me just play this section back here so you can tell.
Details. If all looks good, scroll down and click Continue. Click this arrow to show the plan full screen. Then you can click the individual spans to see their details. Scrolling down, you'll see a list of components here. When ready, click Add.
Okay, so that'll give you an idea. It's subtle when you want to add pauses like that. It's really up to you. You just want the video to flow properly. You never want it to go too long without you saying anything, without there being any voiceover, because you could lose attention. Excuse me. Granted, this is not a video that's designed for YouTube and designed to keep somebody's attention. The purpose of this video is to show somebody how to place an order for glass railings. So anybody watching this video on this company's website probably wants all of the details. So they probably are okay if it takes a little bit longer, just so that they know they get it right. But that said, you want videos to flow properly, and sometimes that means speeding up certain sections. Like if I'm filling out a form in this video, if there are, let's say there are 5 fields to fill out to write an address out, to fill in somebody's address, a viewer does not need to see all that. So maybe you can show, starting to fill in the first field, and then cut out a bunch of it, and then show the filling out of the end of the last field, and then put that together, and then that would work. Another way would be just to take that entire section and compress it, speed it right up using clip speed adjustment. Is another way to handle that. So yeah, that's that. Is there anything else I wanted to show you, or let me know if there's any questions you have about this? And I'll gladly answer, but I think that was what Adam Roll wanted to know, how long it takes. So I'd say this probably took me 2 hours from start to finish, including the voiceover and adding the video and then delivering to the client. And then sometimes the client will come back and say, I need something changed, or I don't like the screen capture you did. I may have to redo parts of the screen capture. And if so, that's fine. Or maybe I said something wrong, or maybe I mispronounced a word. Actually, I run into that quite a bit. I'm Canadian. I'm in Canada, and there are most of my clients, I would say, are from the United States. But I also have clients in Canada, the UK, Australia, everywhere really. But generally, so accents are different all over the world, right? And if I'm talking about the bulk of my clients in the United States, accents can be different all over the United States. So if you're from the South, you would have a different accent typically than somebody from the Northeast or from the West or the Midwest and whatnot. My accent, being Canadian, to somebody from Europe or Australia might sound exactly the same as an American accent, but to Americans, I sound completely different. And there are specific words that I know I pronounce differently. And I mean, we could have some fun with this, but when I talk about things, typically in the United States, they'd say, I talk about things. In Canada, it's about things. So that's one word that's pronounced differently a lot. There's all kinds. So anyways, my point is, if I said something that they want said differently, that's often something I'll get asked. So I may have to re-record a specific section. If there are a lot of mistakes, I may redo the whole thing. But if there's only a mistake here or there, or maybe their company name, I didn't say it right. So that happens a lot too. And if I know what's going to happen, usually I will ask them as the order's coming in or as we're negotiating or whatever, how do you pronounce this name? Can you describe it to me or send me a recording of you saying it or something like that? Or people's names. If I have to say somebody's name in a video, a lot of times I may not know the proper pronunciation of that name, and I'll have to ask. So yeah, a lot of times I'll have to make changes. So that's why every job I've done for clients, I've kept. So if I ever have to go back and edit it, I can. Okay? And typically what I would do is I would not just edit the video that I did for them initially, I'd create another copy of it and call it, at the end of the file name, I'd go _ REV1 for revision 1, or I'll put the date on it because it's now a new project, and I'm going to render a new one, and so yeah, that's another trick as well that I do. Let's see, is there anything else? Adam Roll says, perfect. Thank you for your time. No problem. Glad I could help. I hope I answered your questions. If there's anybody else that has any other questions at all, let me know now, and I can answer them right now. I think I'm all caught up to the questions that have been asked so far. So as of right now, there's nothing, but I can stay on for a few more minutes if you want me to, if you have any other questions about how I record my voiceovers. Again, I use Adobe Audition to record my voice. I use a shotgun mic to capture my voice as my microphone, and that is plugged into an audio interface, it's called. The one I use is the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. If I change angles here, you can see it's right here. You can see it from my phone, I think. Not very big, this little red box here. If you search for Scarlett Focusrite, that's Focusrite, R-I-T-E, Scarlett 2i2, meaning you could plug two different things into this. Now, I have my microphone plugged into input number 1. That also means that it's a mono, it's not a stereo. If I wanted to record myself in stereo, I would need 2 mics, and I could plug the other one into the other input, and then I'd have stereo. But generally speaking, voiceovers are mono, so that the exact same thing you will hear in both sides. Now, when I bring that into my recording software, actually, I'm trying to remember. I think with I don't think it's an issue with Camtasia. It automatically, I think the way mine's set up is it automatically converts to mono. But I can tell you that with DaVinci Resolve, when I bring a voiceover in, I only hear it out of the left side. And that's because I have my microphone plugged into the left side of this 2-input audio interface. So I then have to, in DaVinci Resolve, go in and basically convert it to mono, so that the same sound comes out of both. So yeah, that's just something else to keep in mind. When you're making a video tutorial, your voice audio should be, for the most part, it should usually be mono, but your music track could be stereo. Like if you have stereo music playing in the background, that sounds nicer if it's in stereo. But generally speaking, voiceover wouldn't sound, it's not necessary to make that stereo. Unless you're in a situation where let's say you're editing a video podcast and you've got one guy who's on the left and maybe a girl who's on the right, and you actually want it to sound that way so that the guy on the left comes into your left ear and the girl on the right is into your right ear, then yeah, you can keep the channels separated like that. But I've never done that. I would just convert them both to mono so that you can hear them both equally. It also, the other thing to keep in mind is if, I don't know, if somebody's listening and let's say one of their channels is out, right? Maybe it's the right side doesn't work for them. If the voiceover is in mono, then it's still okay. They'll still hear what the voice audio is saying. So yes, that's that. I don't think there's any other questions. So the last thing I'll say is, for those of you who watch this later on the replay, if you go through this and you have any questions at all, once this live stream is over, you won't be able to enter anything into the chat, but you will be able to ask questions or comment in the comments below this video. This video will exist on my channel indefinitely, so feel free to ask questions or submit comments. Let me know what else you'd like me to do to show you. I can do these live streams. I think my plan is to do 2 to 3 a week. They're really not that difficult to do, and I enjoy them. Now this week, Wednesday, I'm going away for a few days, so I may do one tomorrow. Don't know yet. I'll have to think about it, and I'll look at some comments to see if there's anything you guys want me to cover tomorrow. But I can be back the same time tomorrow. But then it's going to be till the following week. So a week from today, I'll be back. Yeah, but I'll still be able to answer any comments that you have. So again, let me know if there's anything you want me to cover in a future video or a future live stream. Put it in the comments below. If you liked this, give it a thumbs up if you don't mind. It really helps the algorithm, helps my channel. And if that's it, yeah, I think that's it. Pamela Powers just said this time is good for me. Okay, great. It's actually an hour later than I tried, but I had a couple of issues. Yeah, so let's keep rolling with noon Eastern time as the time that I'll go live. In the future, I may do some evening ones as well, just to see what the viewership is like there. Maybe more people would tune in then. We'll see. But yeah, if that'll bring this to an end. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for stopping by, and I will see you next time.